3 months after the competition, New Montana was a changed world. Where once a single human colony stood alone, now a small but growing alien settlement had sprung up nearby. It was called Unity Dome, and it housed researchers, diplomats, and adventurous visitors from 12 different species. Ambassador Reed watched from the observation tower as humans taught alien visitors how to use specialized gear. In a protected field, a human instructor named Parker showed young Elongni how to operate storm gliders. "They're learning quickly," Wilson remarked, joining Reed at the window. "Your people are more adaptable than you thought." Reed nodded. "With the right tools and training, yes. But we'll never match humans' natural ability." In the months since the competition, the Galactic Council had created a new planetary classification system. Class A planets, named for humans, were environments where only humans could thrive naturally. 5 such worlds had already been identified, opening vast new territories for human settlement. "The council meeting is about to start," Wilson reminded Reed. "Ready to make history." Inside the main hall of Unity Dome, representatives from 23 species gathered. Some attended via hologram, unable to visit even with protective gear. Council leader Zahn called the meeting to order. "Today," Zahn announced, "we formalize the Human Adaptation Training Program. Governor Wilson, please explain the initiative." Wilson stepped forward. "Thank you. The program has 3 goals. First, to train other species how to survive on Class H worlds using our technology. Second, to study human adaptability and see if any aspects can be shared. And third, to establish joint colonies where we can learn from each other." Scientist Taylor presented the early research findings. "Humans have several unique advantages. Our bodies respond to environmental stress by growing stronger. Our digestive systems can evolve to process almost any organic matter, and our children adapt even faster than adults." The room filled with murmurs of amazement. "But most importantly," Taylor continued, "humans have a psychological advantage. Where other species see danger, we see challenge. Where you see hardship, we see opportunity." "This explains much about human history," commented Ambassador Lori. "Your people have always pushed into difficult environments. Deserts, polar regions, mountaintops, even your own oceans." Reed added, "The Council has voted to offer humans 50 new Class H worlds for settlement. These are planets we previously considered worthless. In return, we ask humans to help establish research stations where we can study together." Wilson smiled. "We accept. And we invite young people from all species to train here on New Montana. Those who wish to test their limits will always be welcome." After the meeting, Reed found himself on a viewing platform with a human child. The boy, about 10 years old, was named Tom. "Is it true you can't breathe our air?" Tom asked curiously. "That's right," Reed explained. "The chemicals would damage my lungs." Tom considered this. "That's sad. You missed the best part of storms, the smell." "The smell?" Reed asked, surprised. "Yeah, right before the acid rain, there's this amazing smell. Kinda sharp and tangy. All the kids love it. It means it's time to play storm tag." Reed tilted his head. "You play in acid rain?" "Sure. With the right gear, it's super fun. The drops make little sizzles on your suit, and everything gets all foggy and colorful." Looking at Tom's excited face, Reed finally understood something profound about humans. It wasn't just their bodies that adapted to harsh worlds. It was their minds, their spirits. Where others saw only danger and death, humans found beauty, excitement, and joy. As if reading his thoughts, Tom asked, "Wanna try it sometime? We could make you a special suit." Reed surprised himself by answering, "Yes, I think I would like that very much." Tom grinned. "Cool. It's settled then. Next storm, you're on my team." And with those simple words, the gap between their worlds grew just a little bit smaller. The stadium filled with excited humans and curious aliens as the competition began. Cameras transmitted the events across the galaxy. For the first time, The wider universe would see humans in their element on a Class 13 planet. "Welcome to the first interspecies challenge," announced Hill, the human commentator. His voice boomed across the field. "Today, 9 species will compete in 5 events designed to test strength, speed, and adaptability." The first event was a simple race -200 meters across flat ground. Despite the humans wearing weighted vests, the result wasn't even close. Jack, a human farmer, finished first. The nearest alien competitor, Grath of the Taurians, finished nearly a minute later, his exosuit whirring with strain. "Perhaps the running event favors human physiology," suggested Ambassador Lori kindly. The next challenge might be different. The second event was a climbing wall. The aliens were given mechanical climbing assists while humans used only their hands and feet. Again, humans dominated. A human teenager named Emma reached the top in under 2 minutes while most alien competitors couldn't complete the climb at all. As the day continued, the pattern repeated. In the weightlifting challenge, even the mighty dwarven team couldn't match human strength in the higher gravity. In the obstacle course, human agility and endurance left the aliens far behind. "This is beyond belief," Reed whispered to Wilson as they watched. "Even with all our technology, we can't come close to what your people do naturally." Wilson looked uncomfortable. "We didn't mean to embarrass anyone. Maybe this competition was a bad idea." During the lunch break, the human organizers met with the alien team leaders. "We have one more event planned," Morgan explained. "A team challenge in the acid flats. But given how the morning went, we understand if you want to cancel it." The aliens looked at each other. Finally, Rock spoke up. "We have lost every event today. We have been humbled. But we came to learn the truth about humans, and we are learning it." He stood straighter, wincing at the effort. "We will finish what we started." For the final event, mixed teams were formed, humans and aliens working together. Each team had to build a shelter that could withstand an acid rain shower, then reach a flag placed 100 meters away in the open. The humans guided their alien teammates, showing them how to move more efficiently in the gravity and how to use the protective gear properly. When the artificial acid rain began to fall, the humans used their bodies to shield the more vulnerable aliens. "You don't need to protect me," Grath told his human partner, a woman named Lisa. "Your skin will burn too." Lisa smiled. "Not as quickly as yours. Besides, teammates look out for each other." Working together, 3 of the 5 teams reached their flags. The aliens' times were their best of the day, still slow by human standards, but remarkable improvements. As the event ended, something unexpected happened. The alien competitors, exhausted but proud, approached the human winners. Instead of showing jealousy or resentment, they offered gestures of respect, bows, salutes, and handshakes. "Today we have seen something remarkable," Rock announced to the crowd. "We came to test if humans were truly special. We have our answer." The stadium erupted in cheers. Human children ran onto the field, offering water and cool towels to the alien guests. Despite their competitive spirit, there was no gloating from the humans, only genuine concern for their visitors' comfort. "What happens now?" Wilson asked Reed as they watched the scene. Reed's expression was thoughtful. "The Council will need to create a new classification system, one that recognizes the unique adaptability of humans. Will other species try to settle on planets like ours?" Wilson wondered. "Not immediately," Reed replied. "But your people have shown us what's possible. Perhaps with your guidance, someday we might learn to adapt as you do." As the day ended, human medics helped the exhausted alien competitors back to their ships. Despite their physical struggles, the visitors left with a new understanding of their human neighbors and a newfound respect for the species that could turn the galaxy's most hostile environments into their home. The morning of the competition arrived with clear skies and a temperature of only 35 degrees Celsius, what the humans called pleasant weather. Inside the alien quarters, medical teams worked frantically. Despite their special suits, many competitors were already suffering. "The gravity is crushing my lungs," complained Rock, the dwarven athlete. "And these suits are too hot." Medical Officer Plex checked his vital signs. "Your heart rate is too high. I'm not sure you should compete." "I must," Rock insisted. "The honor of my people is at stake." Similar scenes played out across all the alien teams. The Aquarians needed extra water pumped into their suits. The Elangi required special braces just to stand upright. Even the strongest alien species struggled. Meanwhile, at the human preparation area, the mood was very different. Children ran around excitedly, helping set up the course flags. Adults chatted and stretched, wearing only light clothing. "Should we really go through with this?" Wilson asked Morgan as they watched the aliens struggle. "It doesn't seem fair." Morgan frowned. "We've made the courses as easy as possible. What more can we do?" "Maybe we should let them use vehicles," Wilson suggested. "That wouldn't prove anything about adaptation," Morgan replied. "Besides, some of them are determined to prove humans aren't special." Ambassador Reed approached them, looking worried. 3 species have already withdrawn from the competition. They say the conditions are too extreme, even with protective gear. "I'm sorry to hear that," Wilson said. "We never meant to make anyone uncomfortable." "It's not your fault," Reed assured him. The council didn't truly understand what Class 13 means in practical terms. Seeing is believing. At that moment, a group of human children raced past, laughing as they played tag in the open area. The aliens watched in disbelief. "How are they doing that?" asked Ambassador Lori, pointing at the children. "No protective gear, no breathing assistance, running in this gravity." Reed had no answer. An hour before the competition, the human organizers called an emergency meeting. Wilson addressed the alien competitors directly. "We understand many of you are struggling," he said gently. "We've modified the events again. The races will be shorter. The strength tests will use mechanical assistance, and we're canceling the acid flat challenge entirely." The aliens looked relieved, but also embarrassed. "We had no idea," said Grath, his proud voice now humble. "When you said it was harsh here, we thought you meant by human standards. But this," he gestured around, "this is beyond imagination." "We've lived here for years," Wilson explained. "Our bodies have adapted. Our children were born here. It's home to us." A human scientist named Taylor stepped forward with data tablets. "We've been studying our own physiology. Humans living on New Montana have developed denser bones, stronger muscles, and more efficient lungs than Earth humans. Our bodies changed to match our environment." The aliens examined the data with growing amazement. "Incredible," whispered Lori. "We've been cataloging species for 10,000 years and never found adaptability like this." As competition time approached, the human team made one final decision. To make things more fair, Wilson announced, the human competitors will wear weighted vests and breathing restrictors. This will simulate what it feels like for us to live on Earth. The aliens stared in shock. "You're handicapping yourselves," Grath asked. "But why?" Wilson smiled kindly. "Because a competition is no fun if everyone doesn't have a fair chance to win." As the teams moved toward the starting line, Reed realized something profound. The true strength of humans wasn't their physical adaptability. It was their ability to understand others' limitations and show compassion, even during a contest designed to prove their superiority. News of the human colony spread quickly through the Galactic Council. Many members refused to believe the reports. "Impossible," declared Ambassador Grath of the Taurian Empire. His bull-like head shook with certainty. "No species can live comfortably on a Class 13 planet." "The evidence is clear," Reed argued, showing the council videos of New Montana. "Humans not only survive there, they enjoy it." The council chamber filled with doubtful murmurs. "Perhaps," suggested the elegant Ambassador Lori of the Avian Collective, "these are special humans. Enhanced somehow." Reed shook his head. "They're ordinary colonists. Farmers, Teachers, engineers, even their children thrive in conditions we find deadly. The debate continued for hours until council leader Zahn raised his hand for silence. "There is one way to settle this," Zahn said. "A demonstration. A contest, if you will." 3 days later, Reed returned to New Montana with important news. Governor Wilson invited him to his office, a simple room with large windows facing the mountains. "The Galactic Council proposes a challenge," Reed explained. "A sporting competition here on your planet. Representatives from different species will compete against humans in various tests." Wilson's eyebrows rose. "A galactic sporting event? Here?" "Yes. Some council members believe there must be some trick to how you live here. They'd want proof." Wilson laughed and slapped his desk. "A contest. Wonderful. We'd be honored to host it." In the weeks that followed, New Hope City transformed. The humans built a large arena complex outside the dome where various events would take place. Engineering teams led by Morgan, a tall woman with dark hair, designed special suits and equipment to help alien visitors survive the harsh conditions. "These suits will provide air, regulate temperature, and offer some gravity compensation," Morgan explained to Reed. "But they're bulky. They'll slow the competitors down." "Can you make them better?" Reed asked. Morgan shook her head. "That's the best we can do with our technology. Your people will just have to adapt." As the day of the competition approached, ships arrived carrying representatives from 12 different species. The aliens emerged cautiously from their vessels, immediately struggling with the gravity. A team of blue-skinned Aquarians fell to their knees as soon as they stepped onto the landing pad. The tall, thin Ilongi could barely stand upright. Even the stocky dwarven delegates moved slowly and with visible effort. "This is worse than we expected," complained Graff, now wearing a reinforced exosuit. "How do you expect us to compete here?" Wilson looked concerned. "Maybe we should change the events. Make them easier?" "No," Graff growled. "That would defeat the purpose. We need to see what humans can really do and compare it fairly." That evening, the humans held a welcome feast inside the dome. The aliens watched in amazement as humans ate local food, drank local water, and breathed the filtered but still slightly toxic air without any problems. "Tomorrow," Wilson announced to the gathered competitors, "we begin with simple races, then move to strength tests, and finish with technical challenges in the acid flats." A young human girl approached the table where the alien delegates sat. "Good luck tomorrow," she said with a smile. "Don't worry, my dad says they made the courses really easy this time." "Easy?" asked a dwarven competitor named Rock. "What do you mean?" "Well," the girl explained, "they removed all the gravity wells and acid pools from the racetrack, and they're not making you climb any mountains or swim across the hot lakes." As she skipped away, the aliens looked at each other in horror. "This is what they consider easy," whispered Lori. Reed nodded slowly. "I think tomorrow is going to be very interesting for everyone." The next morning, Ambassador Reed and his team prepared to explore New Hope City. They wore lighter environmental suits after the humans assured them the city's shield dome protected against the worst of the planet's conditions. "Today," Governor Wilson announced, "we'll show you how we live on New Montana. First stop is the farm domes." The aliens followed Wilson to large glass structures where plants grew in neat rows. "These are earth crops," Wilson explained. "But we've also started growing local plants that we found can be eaten safely." Science Officer Vox scanned the local plants with wide eyes. "These contain compounds that would kill most species." A human farmer named Brown smiled. "Not us. Our bodies break down the toxins. The plants actually have more vitamins than earth crops. Our scientists say it's because they grow in the higher radiation." Reed's team exchanged worried glances. Their next stop was a factory where workers shaped metal parts. "What are you making?" asked Engineer Lim, the fourth member of Reed's team. "Parts for storm gliders," answered the factory manager, Jones. "The acid in the atmosphere eats through normal metals, So we developed this special alloy. He held up a lightweight metal panel. We discovered the acid actually makes the metal stronger when applied in controlled amounts. You're using the planet's deadly features as tools? Lim asked in shock. Jones nodded. Why fight the planet when you can work with it? After lunch, where the aliens ate emergency rations while the humans enjoyed local food, Wilson took them to a large open area where children played. This is our gravity park, Wilson said proudly. Reed watched in amazement as human children ran, jumped, and climbed in the crushing gravity. Some wore weighted vests or carried heavy packs. Why are those children wearing extra weight? Reed asked. Isn't the gravity already too strong? Wilson laughed. Those kids are training for the junior strongman competition next month. They're building muscle. A small boy noticed the aliens and ran over. He moved with ease despite carrying a backpack that Reed guessed weighed at least 20 kilos. Are you really aliens? The boy asked, eyes wide with excitement. Yes, Reed answered. We're from the Galactic Council. Cool. I'm Tim. Do you want to try the gravity wall? He pointed to a tall climbing wall where older teenagers were scaling the sheer surface. No thank you, Reed said quickly. We find your gravity very challenging. Tim looked disappointed. Oh, well, that's okay. Not everyone can handle it right away. As they continued the tour, they saw more examples of how humans had adapted. Thick-walled houses built to withstand acid storms, special breathing masks for work outside the dome, vehicles with massive wheels to grip the surface in high winds. And here's our pride and joy, Wilson said, leading them to a tall tower. From the observation deck, they could see beyond the city dome to the wild landscape. Tomorrow is our annual Storm Rider competition, Wilson explained. 50 of our best pilots will fly into that storm system. He pointed to dark clouds gathering on the horizon. Even from a distance, the aliens could see lightning flashing. You fly into those storms? Medical Officer Plex asked in horror. On purpose? It's our biggest sporting event, Wilson said. The riders use the storm currents to perform stunts. The electrical charges create amazing light shows on their gliders. But the danger, Plex began. Wilson shrugged. There's some risk, sure. But we've only had 3 serious injuries in 3 years. Our safety systems are good. As they watched the storm approach, Reed realized something important. Humans hadn't just survived on this planet. They had embraced it. They had turned deadly dangers into opportunities, challenges, and even entertainment. I need to contact the council, Reed said quietly to his team. They need to understand what we're seeing here. Humans don't just endure hardship, they turn it into sport. 2 weeks after the survey team's report, a larger ship entered orbit around X-413. This was the diplomatic vessel Star Messenger, carrying Ambassador Reed and his team. Are the environmental suits ready? Reed asked. He was tall with green scales and a crest of purple feathers. His voice rumbled deep in his chest. Medical Officer Plex nodded. Yes, Ambassador. The suits are rated for Class 13 conditions. We've added extra shielding against the radiation and acid. Each suit has 4 hours of air supply. Good. Reed looked at the planet through the viewing window. I still can't believe anyone lives down there. The council thinks this must be some kind of mistake. Chief Scientist Vox spoke up. No mistake, sir. Our scans confirm around 5,000 humans on the surface. They've built 7 settlements. The largest they call New Hope City. Reed sighed. Very well. Prepare the shuttle. Let's meet these impossible humans. The shuttle landed on a flat concrete pad outside New Hope City. Reed's team stepped out cautiously in their bulky protective suits. Their movements were slow and careful in the higher gravity. A group of humans waited for them. To the aliens' surprise, the humans wore only light clothing. Some had simple breathing masks, others wore nothing over their faces at all. None wore full body protection. An older human with gray hair stepped forward. Welcome to New Montana. I'm Governor Wilson. His voice came through clearly on the aliens' comm system. We got your message. First visitors from the stars. This is exciting for our little colony. Reed's helmet hid his shocked expression. Thank you for the welcome, Governor. I am Ambassador Reed of the Galactic Council. May I ask, how are you standing out here without protection? Wilson looked confused. Then he laughed. Oh, these fancy suits you're wearing. Don't worry about us. Humans can handle this planet just fine. The air's a bit thin and the gravity takes some getting used to, but it's nothing special. Reed and his team looked at each other in disbelief. Nothing special, Vox said. This is a Class 13 planet, the most extreme environment in known space. The humans exchanged amused glances. Come inside, Wilson said. We can talk more comfortably there. They followed the humans to a large dome building. Inside, the aliens hesitated to remove their suits. The air in here is filtered, Wilson explained. No toxins. We keep it at standard Earth temperature and pressure for comfort. Slowly, nervously, the aliens removed their helmets. Their testing equipment confirmed the air was safe, though the gravity still pulled hard on their bodies. Please, sit down, Wilson offered. You all look tired. The gravity, Reed explained, lowering himself carefully onto a sturdy chair. It's very strong for us. A young human child ran past, jumping and laughing. The aliens watched in amazement as she easily moved in what was, to them, crushing gravity. Now, Wilson said, pouring drinks for everyone. What brings the Galactic Council to our little corner of space? Reed tried to focus. Governor, we're confused. According to all our science, no intelligent species should be able to live on this planet. The conditions are too extreme. Wilson smiled. Well, I guess humans are tougher than your science expected. We've been here 3 years now. Started with 50 colonists. Now we're up to 5,000. But the acid storms, the radiation, the toxic compounds in the air, Vox asked. Oh, those, Wilson shrugged. We built our buildings strong. We developed special coatings for protection. The acid rain actually helps with some of our mining operations, and the kids love playing in the gravity. Makes for great sports. Playing? Reed repeated, stunned. You let your children play outside. Of course, Wilson looked surprised. This weekend we're having our annual storm glider competition. The teenagers fly special gliders inside the electrical storms. It's quite a sight. You should stay and watch. The aliens sat in shocked silence as they realized the truth. What they considered a deadly environment, humans saw as just another place to call home. The sleek silver ship glided into orbit around planet X-413. On the bridge, 4 aliens of different species looked at screens showing the planet below. None of them looked happy. Are we sure this is the right planet? Asked lead surveyor Trill. His thin blue fingers tapped nervously on the control panel. The data can't be right. Science Officer Mux nodded her bulbous head. The readings are correct. This is definitely X-413. Her extra set of eyes blinked rapidly as she studied the numbers on her screen. And it's even worse than we thought. Captain Dorn sighed. His gray skin wrinkled around his mouth as he frowned. Give me the full report. Mux brought up a hologram of the planet. It spun slowly in the center of the bridge, showing angry red storm systems and dark, jagged mountains. Planet X-413 has a gravity of 1.8 times the galactic standard, Mux said. Temperature ranges from -60 degrees to +50 degrees in a single-day cycle. The atmosphere contains at least 7 compounds toxic to most life forms. And those storms, she pointed to the red swirls on the hologram. They're not just wind and rain. They carry acid strong enough to melt standard hull plating. The 4th alien, a tall, thin figure with metallic skin, named Observer Ray, spoke up. What about the classified tests? Mux looked even more unhappy. We ran all 20 standard habitability tests. X-413 failed 19 of them. It's officially a Class 13 planet. All 4 aliens went quiet. In the Galactic Council's system, planets were rated from Class 1, Paradise Worlds, to Class 12, Extreme Survival Conditions. Class 13 was a new rating created just for planets like this, places so deadly that settlement was considered impossible. Captain Dorn broke the silence. Well, that settles it. We mark it as uninhabitable, log the dangerous conditions, and move on. No species in the Council would waste time on this death trap. Wait. Ray moved closer to one of the screens. His metal fingers touched the display, zooming in on a spot on the planet's surface. What is that? The others gathered around. The screen showed something that shouldn't be there. Straight lines and perfect angles. Structures. Run a full scan, ordered Captain Dorn, his voice suddenly tense. Mux's fingers flew over her controls. Confirmed. Those are artificial structures, multiple settlements detected across the northern continent. But that's impossible, said Trill. Nothing can live down there. Ray adjusted the sensors again. I'm picking up energy signatures, communication signals, and... He paused, his metal face somehow managing to look shocked. Movement. Lots of movement. There are living beings down there. Thousands of them. Identify the species, Captain Dorn demanded. Mux ran the scan 3 times before answering. The readings match only one known species in our database. She looked up, all 4 of her eyes wide with disbelief. Humans. Humans? Trill repeated. Those new members who joined the Council last year. The ones from that backwater system. Ray nodded. The very same. But this doesn't make sense. Even humans shouldn't be able to survive on a Class 13 planet. Captain Dorn stared at the hologram, watching as the computer added markers showing the locations of human settlements. They weren't just surviving. They were spreading across the planet's surface. Contact the Council immediately, he ordered. Tell them we discovered something impossible. Humans aren't just living on X-413. They appear to be thriving. As the message was sent, a new scan result appeared on the main screen. It showed a group of small humans, children, running across an open field under the acid rain. Protected by nothing more than thin suits and helmets, they were playing a game. By the stars, whispered Trill. They've made it their home. The survey team watched in stunned silence as the impossible truth sank in. The humans had turned a Class 13 death world into their playground.